Hey guys, we are going to do a video today on the AFC max travel setup. Why to do it, why you should do it, why you shouldn't do it. Why you should do it. There isn't shouldn't do it. Why you should do it shows how you can add tuning and all that type of stuff. Anyways, let's get after it here. All right, this is a little jig I made up. So this AFC come off of a stock 180 horse pump that was just rebuilt. So we're going to assume that it is all stock inside. I didn't actually take it apart. It's got a tamper-proof screw in it. I probably will modify it, but this is a stock one. Has nothing's cut on it. The AFC is set where it's supposed to be as per factory spec. But I wanted to show you guys the travel. So I just made up this little block so that I could put the dial indicator in there, and I'm using a metric dial indicator, or digital dial indicator, just so it's easier for us to read the amount that it's moving. So right now this is no air on it at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this up to, as long as I don't move everything around too much, I am going to go to 10 psi. So you'll be able to see my gauge isn't super accurate gauge, but we'll just go in until we start to see some movement. Okay, we just started to move, and on the gauge it still says 0, but I'd imagine the 10 is pretty close. So here I'm going to put it at 10. There is 10 psi. So that's 5.3, well, 5.2, let's say, mil of travel at 10 psi. And then we're going to go up to 20 psi. And at 20 psi, it is already maxed out. That's as much travel, like I can turn it up, and that's 50 psi. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the pressure down, and we're just going to see when it starts to come down. So we're starting to come down there now, and we're at about, I would say, just right hovering at close to the 20 psi mark. So this setup, the way that this one is set up, hopefully you guys were able to see that. Basically, at full, this is full rack travel of 9.65 mil at 20 psi. So that, if you have a pump that has a boatload of fuel in it, like if it's a stock pump with stock delivery valve, stock, not a huge deal. But if you want a bunch more power, this isn't the way that you want it set up. As if you have it set up like this, you're going to have all of your fuel at 20 psi, and the turbos aren't going to be completely spooled. If you have big chargers, they're not spooled up yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap it over to this AFC, and this has a RPM spring, has a AFC spring in it, the washer, and the travel mod done to the foot. So spin that around the other way just so it looks right. And then we'll see how much travel that has versus this one. So this one, just note, this one is 9.65 full travel, and then we'll try it on this one, and we'll see how much psi it takes. Now this one I have set, the star wheel is all the way to the front of the pump, and I still have to put that plug back in. I haven't done that yet. Actually, I guess I don't have to. Doesn't matter. I'll just leave the plug up for now. I'm just going to swap the line over, and we'll see. So this has the AFC spring that I use, the AFC star wheel, or the star wheel all the way forwards, and then the smoke screw all the way out, so it's not touching. Just basically, it's plugging the hole. So I'll swap over, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the other one that I already done the mods to. Now, as you can see, it's zeroed. It's touching on here. Nothing funky. We are going to so that's just cracked off the needle. I don't know exactly how much it is, but we're going to go up 10 psi is at 5.4 mil. 20 mil is 12.6. There's 30 psi, which is 15.79 millimeters. We're probably getting pretty close to the end of the stroke now. And then there's 40 psi. And it's basically maxed out at 40 psi. But you can see that's like a considerable amount more travel. So that gives you that much more. Like obviously some of that you're going to lose from tuning. But see, so we back that back down. That's 40. Yeah, right at 40. So basically what I wanted to show with doing this is you can see how much more travel you get out of it. You're talking the difference between, what was it, 9.65 to 17, whatever it was. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it in there right now. So to see the difference between the two now, and that's with the AFC, the star wheel all the way forward. So that's the least amount of pressure you can put on the spring. I can add more pressure to it to add more pressure so that it's harder to get boost to come up or harder to get fuel to come up, but shows you that much more travel. So now instead of running your here, let me, the reason I wanted to show this, so kind of a little bit more advanced tuning, I guess you would say. What I wanted to show was, if you put this on, actually, maybe let me go get a pump. Let me go get a pump. Get this out of the way. Basically with that AFC, the one we just tested, the one that has the max travel, basically the way that, how I look at it, it gives you more adjustability. With this one only has 9.6 mil of travel, and this one has 17.4, I think it was. Basically, if you have this one all the way forwards, as far as you can have it go forwards, you're still going to have less, you have one that has a less adjustment, two, you have less travel in the foot itself. So if you pull that one back all the way, so you have as much adjustment as possible. And if you look at how that's set up, it actually does pull back farther, which is what you want, because you want the most amount of travel. So you want to pull this all the way back as tight as you can when you have that mod done, so that you can do your adjustment. Now you can make it so you can put it all the way forwards, because if you look at this, the two of them, if you look on this one, how far, if you look at the bottom, I don't have enough hands here. If you look right here, how much space there is on this one, and then look how much space there is on this one, you have that much more travel in, which isn't like astronomical amount, but it does make, it's probably a millimeter difference. So there's a millimeter there, plus how much more travel you have going this way. So you can run this, when you're running that one, you can run it all the way tight if you want, which is going to pull more fuel out of the bottom end, or you can run it all the way loose if you want, or as far forwards as you want, and you're still going to have more travel, because you don't have, like, there's travel there, but there isn't, you know, there isn't like what, 7 mil, 8 mil of travel difference. So the reason for doing that is it gives you more range of adjustability. So that's the reason that I like doing the max travel setup personally. Now, if you're doing the max travel setup and the pump is off, I would recommend doing a rack plug. The rack plug, I'll give you the part number.
I also like the max travel mod for the AFC setup, so that you can also bring your fuel in a lot longer period of time versus a very short period of time. Like with that the stock spring at 20 psi, all your fueling is there that you have available in 20 psi, where the other one you can bring in your fuel over the 40 psi, so it's easier to make power.
So that's a Mac rack plug, or that's what they call it. So it's a max travel plug. It's just a deeper plug, and it goes right here. That's the part number for you guys that want. You can order one. I will have these on the website. If you want to order it, by all means, when I have the website up, there'll be a link in the description. If you don't want to buy it from me, you want to buy it from wherever, that's fine too. If you're going to do this this modification, if you're going to do the modification of the AFC, if you have the pump off, do this. Regardless, I always recommend if you have the pump off, do one of these, whether it's a stock pump or not, because then if you ever want to, then it's already there. You don't have to monkey with it. If you guys could share the videos, that'd be awesome. Trying to grow the channel. Been doing pretty good so far, but I'd like to get, my goal is to have 50,000 subscribers in the next year. Maybe a lawful goal, but that is what I'm after. Just putting it out there, putting it out in the world, I guess. I would like to basically get to the point where I can do videos more frequently and better videos. And then the more subscribers, obviously, you know, the more money that's involved in that type of stuff. So I can do better videos, do more videos, that type of stuff, quality of the videos being better, you know, that type of stuff. So anyways, let me know. And remember, it's not rocket science.